purging is at last at hand. The day of doom is here. All that is evil, all that are lies, your parents, your leaders, those who would call themselves your judges, those who have lied and corrupted the earth, they shall all be cleansed.
How are we doing, dear listeners? Impromptu Friday Spaces to talk about the only topic worth talking about, which is this war. Good Sir Tony, send me a request. I can turn you a speaker. I think that's just faster.
Good day, Enough. How are you doing?
There we go. It's working. All right. It's working. So we got New York Times. You know, like it was a conspiracy theory, right? It's like, oh, it's Iranian propaganda. Americans don't run away to hotels and stay there or whatever, right? We always fight on the front. And now New York Times is saying, actually, no, they're all staying in hotels. 13 of the bases have been completely destroyed out of the 16 or 17. The remaining 4 or 5 are like heavily damaged. And most of the Americans are in these hotels and these other places where they're quote unquote working from home or working online, right? So, by the way, this is supposed to be the greatest military on God's green earth, right? That's what claimed.
Yeah, I was told that by a Goyim source that the bases aren't completely destroyed; they're just damaged, and we'll get back to those. Don't worry, we're just in the hotels for a minute here.
For a minute, yeah, exactly. It's so fucking funny. It's just like. And then it's like, okay, well, we're going to use the 82nd and we're going to use the Marines. And then Trump's like, yeah, you know what? We'll throw in an additional 10,000, right? So he's going to use 15,000 or 20,000 or whatever the number is, right? Against fucking Iran, which is like, what? Almost 4 times the population of like 2003 Iraq, 3 or 4 times the size. This is nuts, man. Oh, we got Sir Otter. There we go. Sir Otter is here. All right, let's make him speaker. Give it a few moments.
Just to go back to what you started on, yeah, we were told when the hotels were bombed that Iran just attacks civilians recklessly, right? But now we find the truth.
Well, not only that, we were told that it's a conspiracy theory. Oh, how dare you say that, the brave American soldiers are like shacked up in hotels so that the Iranians don't kill them with their drones, right? Everyone told us that the drones and missiles miss 99.99% of the time. Nothing's happening to the bases. It's just a bunch of fireworks. And lo and behold, like you're saying, the Goyim, the Goy Cattle New York Times tells us that actually, no, 13 of the bases have been completely destroyed. The remaining 4 or 5 have been heavily damaged.
I also noticed they are starting to acknowledge that FPV drones are going to be coming into play here pretty heavily.
What's there to acknowledge, bro? Like, you can see the fucking 4K video, 8K video or whatever, right? And as the Americans start landing, they're also going to get killed by those things, right? So, Americans are just flesh and blood, bros. That's basically what's going to happen with this war. Is basically going to happen with this war, and like it's gonna be like, oh, Sir Otter, you are speaker. Try unmuting yourself and speaking.
Yeah, I should probably get it.
It's a bit distant. I don't know what's wrong with the audio. Maybe tweak the input source a bit. Yeah, give it a moment, guys.
Yeah, it seemed to be, if I'm not mistaken, it seemed to be the attacks on the hotels in Erbil, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, that seemed to have brought the realization around to at least the New York Times that the Americans were hiding, if you will say.
The thing with the Americans is that without the bases, right? Without the bases, and again, New York Times, the Goyim source has admitted it. Without the bases being used, you don't have any staging areas for the troops, right? So you need to you've got 2 options. Option number 1 is by water, right? So you try to do an amphibious landing. And option 2 is parachute, right? both of those end up with like you landing on an island, which is like within tube artillery range of the Iranian mainland. You're gonna get absolutely smoked. Absolutely smoked. Like if it's like 15,000 whatever Americans and they're that close to Iran, right? No cover, no nothing. We're talking about several hundred killed a day. Several hundred killed rather in the opening days, right? Like what was the casualty rate for like Korea? I think it was like 30 killed, 90 wounded every day, right? You're going to see numbers higher than that. You're going to see numbers higher than that, right? And it's going to be a complete bloodbath, right? And the thing is, right, they can say that, oh, it's not happening, it's not happening. The Iranians are going to have like 8K video, 4K video on the fucking FPV drones to show you what's happening on the battlefield, right? So it's going to be a shit show, guys. It's going to be a shit show, right? All this other cope that they're doing, which is like, you know, if we just grab one island, Iran will surrender. No, they won't, man. They're going to laugh at your face and they're going to fire you with their artillery, drones, and missiles and kill you, right? That's what they're going to do, right? The foreign minister, I mean, when he was asked on that by that stupid Goy Kettle American that, hey, you know, aren't you afraid that the Americans are going to invade you? And he's like, no, we're waiting for them, man. We're waiting for them.
Yeah, they are ready and want this to happen.
Well, the reason they want this to happen is because if they defeat the Americans outright in a ground war, I mean, that's all she wrote for America. Because, like, you know, if America is not like, you know, the Spartans and Napoleon and whatever all combined simultaneously, no, America is just a bunch of flesh and blood, then why the fuck does North Korea care that there's a bunch of Americans in South Korea? Why the fuck does China care if, like, you know, Taiwan is defended by flesh and blood Americans? Like this thing of America and the aura of invincibility, if you shatter it, man, America's dead. Because all they gotta do is coordinate amongst themselves and attack simultaneously, right? And this nuclear, or whatever the fuck they talk about, the guy who uses nukes first gets turned into glass, right? So even this doesn't fucking work, right? Like, oh yeah, you know, don't you dare attack us, we got fucking nukes. Buddy, if you're flesh and blood, everyone's gonna attack you. Sorry to break it to you. That's how this ends.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. We're seeing the specter being shattered right in front of our eyes. And every day it's like Trump is pushing it. Oh yeah, and we'll give you another 10 days because we're seeing some progress with these non-existent negotiations.
He's probably talking to some fucking AI chatbot, and because he's got so much dementia and senility, he can't even differentiate between talking to an AI chatbot and talking to like real Iranian negotiators and diplomats or whatever, right? So that's where things are at, gents. That's where things are at. Okay.
And the idea of the Israelis coming to the rescue with 600,000 troops to put on the Iran when they can't even get their reservists to go north.
Bro, they can't even beat Lebanon, all right? Like, do you know how you debunk this crap? Oh my gosh, Greater Israel. Okay, dude. They invaded Lebanon in 1982. They lost that war after 18 years to a bunch of dudes who had like basic military equipment, right? If you can't defeat Lebanon, it means that you can't defeat a 12-year-old boxer. And now you're saying, I'm going to fight Mike Tyson, right? This is all bullshit. All of this is bullshit. It's like, oh, you know, we're going to take Greater Israel. Bullshit, right? Oh, we're going to use the Samson option. Well, if you use nukes, you get turned to glass, right? Iran loses a couple million people, but you get turned straight to glass, so you're dead, right? America gets turned to glass, by the way. America has a very, very high urban population. I think 85% of the population lives in like the fucking urban centers. So like, oh, autarky, America, superpower. It's a fucking goyim plantation, man. That's what it is, okay? So none of these work. Like all of these like bluffs, they're all a bunch of bluffs. Iran has called every single bluff. Iran has called the nuclear bluff. Iran has called this bluff of like America, you know, greatest army on God's green earth. Nope, you're just a bunch of flesh and blood, right? Iran has called the bluff of like, you know, oh, you know, sanctions removal and let's negotiate. No, man, we're going to fucking blockade the Straits of Hormuz. We're going to starve the entire West. And sure, you know, you can fire off, I don't know, 50, 60, 70, 100 tons of explosives at us every day. we are going to choke off Hormuz and starve tens of millions of Westerners. So, all right, let's do some math on the chessboard. You kill my pawn, I kill your queen, right? So this is what this is, right? This is what this is, right? And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. I think in Australia, you're already seeing the shortages and the outages. You're seeing people hoard with the jerry cans or whatever. What's happening in Australia will eventually happen in Japan, South Korea, America, all these other places, man. That's basically what's going to happen. So
I see the American intelligence is saying that they've destroyed about 2/3 of Iran's missile launching capabilities.
No, they're saying 1/3 of them. Here's the hilarious thing about the Americans. They can only confirm 1/3 of them have been hit. Now, here's the problem. What are you hitting? Right? If I hit an F-27 and it's been in the boneyard for 60 years, I've just hit a bunch of junk. If I hit a rubber inflatable ducky, or if I hit like a decoy, that also counts as a hit, right? So when they're saying, oh, we've hit 1/3, you got to understand, they're also counting the decoys and all this other shit, right? Also, another thing to remember, if you're firing at a missile city and the thing is 400, 500, 600 feet underground, right? Okay, so you hit the door, the entrance. He can get a bunch of civilian diggers and a bunch of civilian construction equipment, and he can dig it out in like 2 or 3 days, man.
Yeah, I think weren't they at Four Door, like when the 6 months ago, they were there like the next day or the second day after with an excavator digging it out.
Yeah. It's basic physics, right? If you have an airplane, if you have a jet, 500 kilograms, 1,000 kilograms, that's like the maximum with regard to, like if you're firing a cruise missile like the JASSM or something else, right? And it's from like 500, 600 miles away, which is outside of air defense range, right? That missile, it can hit the door and it can hit the top of the missile city, but it's not going to do anything because like the crater is only a couple meters, right? And meanwhile, you got to go through like several hundred meters, several hundred feet, several hundred meters of like the fucking granite, the rock or whatever, right? So it's completely obsolete military doctrine, right? And so what they're doing now is they're just hitting random decoys. Every now and then they're hitting a daycare or a school, right? But this is never going to get them to victory because every time you hit a daycare or a school with a JASSM cruise missile, right? The opportunity cost is you not using that missile on an actual military target, right? And when they try to hit actual military targets, they always hit like a fucking mountain or they hit like something that's 300 feet away and they only dig like 1 or 2 feet, right? Like, folks, I'm not saying something that's like controversial. You can go online, literally online, go to any of these like 12th grade physics classes. Go to like, okay, well, let's measure the crater made by like a 1,000 kilogram explosion, right? And they'll give you the crater dimensions, bro, right? Like, Iran prepared for this war for 30, 40 years, all right? That's why they made all their factories and their missiles and all the other shit underneath the mountains.
Yeah.
You can't reach these places, man. You can't reach these places. You can hit a few boneyards, you can hit a bunch of daycares and schools, right? But the amount of damage they can do to you is like several orders of magnitude higher. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's why now they've realized that, okay, only a ground invasion can actually, okay, you gotta go into these cities one by one and clear them. I'm like, buddy, if you're only invading with 15,000, you're fucking dead meat.
Yeah.
Right? You need at least 2.5, 3 million, right? And good luck getting that with the draft, right? So this is going to be a completely humiliating defeat for the Americans, man.
Here's some of those facts. Some of the facts that you're referring to. The Washington Post is reporting that more than 850 Tomahawk missiles have been fired in just 4 weeks. Only 57 were procured in last year's defense budget.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see what the Tomahawks are hitting. They're probably hitting a bunch of decoys per usual, right? The Tomahawk, by the way, I think it's only, let me see. Tomahawk cruise missile. I think it's only 450 kilo or something. Let me see. Explosive yield is this much, 287 grams, submunition, 200. Yeah, okay, so basically nothing. If you hit something that's 300 feet underground with a Tomahawk, nothing's going to happen to it, basically.
It's like basically a pockmark upon the landscape.
If I take an egg from the supermarket, right, and I smash it on a rock, that's basically what a Tomahawk does to like 400, 500 feet of granite. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
That's literally what it does. That's literally what it does, right? That's why, by the way, they're hitting like daycares and schools because they don't really have any targets left, right? And they're hitting decoys or whatever, right?
And meanwhile, Barry with the NED is reporting Iran has fired towards Israel 5 times in the last 6 hours. A port in Kuwait is burning following an overnight attack on 2 ports. Hezbollah is publishing footage of them targeting Merkavas. And for the second day in a row, a Hezbollah drone has struck a building in the Galilee. So they're active.
What Iran did was they fired off their old stuff, lots of them in the opening days. The interceptors got eaten up. I think Rusi, R-U-S-I, Rusi, which is like a British outfit, they ran the numbers, and I think they looked at the usage in the first 16 days with regard to American and Israeli offensive and defensive stuff. Basically, their verdict is that within the next couple of weeks, which is right now, so end of March, early April, most of the high-tier stuff will be gone, the offensive, the defensive stuff. And in terms of the mid-tier stuff, it's going to be gone by like June, late June, early July at the latest, right? You can kind of ration and use a bit less and what have you. Then you can extend it up to like late July, but that's it. And everything after that is all the low-tier stuff, right? So for example, right, if you add up everything that the Americans have used and the Israelis have used in the first 16 days, it's around 1,750 tons of explosives, which sounds like a lot, but actually it's not, right? Just for reference, by the way, Vietnam, North Vietnam got hit by more than 7,000 kilotons. So that's 7 million tons of explosives, right? The Americans so far have hit the Iranians with like, in the first 16 days, it was 1,750 tons. In the next, 2 weeks or so, and we're on like day 28 right now, right? So it was like 250 tons or so, right? So 2 kilotons roughly, right, of explosive yield. But okay, theoretically, 2 kilotons, but enough. What about the JDAMs? America has so many JDAMs, right? The 500 kilo, 1,000 kilo or whatever, right? Yes, you have 23 kilotons, so 23,000 tons of JDAMs. Here's the problem. You can fire the JASSM from 400, 500, 600 kilometers away, which is outside the range of most modern air defense. So you can fire outside the range, right? The JDAM, you got to get within 30, 40, 50 kilometers to fire the JDAM. By the way, this is the reason why more and more jets are being shot down by the Iranians. Because, like, as these things come into range, they're not like fucking magic. Like, jets aren't fucking magic, bro. Jets are just like 60, 70, 80-year-old tech. That's what they are, right? So if you come within that range, you're going to get shot down. So that's going to happen more and more. I think they started this entire thing with like 380, 400 airframes. So if they're losing on average, let's take the average number. Every 2 days, 1 airframe is being destroyed and 3 are being damaged on average. They'll run out within 6 months, man. Like within 6 to 12 months, this war is fucking over, right? Unless they move everything from the Asia Pacific, so Korea, Japan, etc., over to Iran. But at that point, America as an empire is finished, right? It's kind of like, well, our $900 billion, this, that, and the other thing, all we can do is lose to Iran. Even after spending all that money, all that tech, all of that shit, we spent it all on like fucking 70, 60-year-old junk, right? And this is our result. This is what we can do, right? Like, we are like spending money on heavy knights in an era of like fucking artillery and gunpowder weapons. That's where things are at, right?
Yeah, I thought I saw something about them borrowing from Ukraine as well.
Yeah. What a fucking shit show. Sir Otter, try speaking.
Hello.
There we go. We can hear you speak. All right. What do you think about this shit show so far?
Oh, well, I've been feeling a whole mixture of things. I've been giddy. I've been a little bit depressed, a little bit flabbergasted.
Mm-hmm.
A whole whirlwind of emotions, man. We're entering a new world.
Oh, yeah.
Things are going to become more difficult, more expensive.
Oh, yeah.
But in the end, it's for a good reason. The American empire was really dragging the rest of us down albatross and all our necks.
Oh yeah.
It's enough of that. Time to move on, but it's going to be a painful transition. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm giddy seeing Trump get humiliated and having a little temper tantrum and exposing himself to all the supporters, the little baby he's always been. Now he doesn't look like the tough guy anymore. And, I don't know how many people can really still call themselves MAGA when all you got is captive dreamer still clinging on.
But Sir
trying to
Otter,
sell
Sir
you on
Otter.
the Zionist wars. Yeah, what's up?
But Sir Otter, librarian of Celiano, told me that the entire Iranian navy was destroyed and Iran is losing. And look at all these American American-Israeli sorties. It's so impressive. By the way, asterisk, right? The amount of like cruise missiles and explosives America has used on Iran, it's like 3 or 4 orders of magnitude less than what was used on like fucking Vietnam, right? And against Iraq 2003 to 2011, it's like 1 or 2 orders of magnitude less. By the way, this country is like 4 times larger in population and 4 times larger in surface area. But anyhow, Librarian of Celiano, John Carter of Mars, all these fucking substackers, bro, all of them.
All these retards.
all of them told me that Israel's gonna win any second now. Look at all the kids that they're killing with the bombs. That means they're winning the war, man. Like obviously if they manage to bomb a hospital, that means these fucking goyim, man, they move so loudly every time like daycares and hospitals get hit. They have no idea what's actually happening. They have no idea that, okay, Iran lost a couple thousand kids and you're gonna lose tens of millions of people to fucking starvation. They still haven't figured this out. They still look at the world through the lens of like, okay, my pawn took your knight, so I'm winning the chess game. Okay, now look 20 moves ahead. What happens?
Yeah, one of the Amerigroids the other day I was talking with told me that I should enjoy my fourth world country here in Canada because, you know, we're real crappy up here. And I'm like, is someone going to tell him what's going to happen?
Someone should tell him that Qatar provides America with like 1/4 of its helium supply. And without that helium supply, the pharmaceuticals, the chips, the fucking medical equipment,
the AI.
Sorry, America, you ain't a fucking autarky. You're about to learn that the hard way. You're not a fucking autarky. You're just a shitty empire, right? And you can laugh at the vassals. Like, you can laugh at Australia. Oh, ha, 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 Australia, you're getting fucked. Well, you're at the end of the chain of dominoes. You're gonna get fucked the hardest. Just letting you know.
They don't remember back to COVID when that exact same, like, play happened.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Sir Otter, how do you feel watching the Goyim moo loudly? The American Goyim.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I've just not really been paying that much attention to lately. You know, I got in my beat down on John Carter. And I got into a few scuffles on, Substack over the weekend.
Nice.
And then I just kind of got bored of it. I feel like they were just kind of baiting me a little too hard at the end there. Just a little bit too desperate. I couldn't keep playing into that game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I got that same accusation. I got that same accusation.
I should step in, and I should finish Sir Otter's training. I should radicalize him into the Brotherhood once and for all, right? I should turn him into a full like anti-Semitic, Jew-hating, like pro-Muslim. Did they call you? By the way, did they call you like pro-Muslim yet? They're like, oh my gosh, you're pro-Islam. You want Islam to win. Did they make that accusation yet?
No, I haven't gotten that yet. I've definitely gotten a third worldist. I've definitely gotten a traitor.
Okay, we gotta upgrade you, bro. We gotta upgrade you.
The Russian asset.
We gotta upgrade your profile. You gotta become like, you know, we gotta make you like, oh, you know, he's an apologist for the dhimmi.
We're gonna get Sir Otter's gonna be willing to strap on a nuclear suicide vest here.
Did you see that?
That sounds kind of badass.
Did you see the fucking JD Vance? Like all these fucking goyim, like the fucking like John Carter of Mars, the fucking librarian of Celiano. Oh my gosh, JD Vance is so. Bro, JD Vance is so intelligent. He's so intelligent. JD Vance then opens up his mouth and he talks about nuclear suicide. I'm like, he's fucking goyim. He is fucking goyim like all you other fucking goyim.
It was so bad when he said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just humiliating for them at this point. I just don't even know why they try.
They're still trying, bro. They're still trying. Right.
They need to fire their whole PR team and hire you probably.
My advice to them, they're not going to listen to my advice, but like, whatever. Oh dear.
I mean, the Iranians' propaganda has been 100% spot on. Been loving that.
Yeah. Iran has
That's the highlight
studied.
of my day lately, honestly, is seeing those Lego videos drop every day
Yes,
recently.
they're so good.
Nice.
I mean, I just want to say it's not hard to make propaganda when your opponents are basically all pedophiles and rapists.
Well, that's a good point, yeah.
Some of the most depraved people in the world. That's all I'm going to say.
It's a valid point.
Yeah.
It is just insane that, I think one of you shared it. Like, Trump was like, talking about, like, why isn't there like a guerrilla channel? And then his aides just go out of their way to make like some stupid guerrilla channel. And it's like, why are these guerrillas not fighting? And then they just like splice clips. And it's like, really? That's the person that's running the show? Like,
I don't know if I fully believe that rumor, but I kind of do. I think it's
believable, man. I think it's believable, yeah.
No, I'll try to find it. It's like in a New York Times article, and it's like the craziest thing is like Trump has shown a lot of signs like he's losing it, right? And it's like the U.S. has the 25th Amendment. It's like, isn't this what this is for? You were criticizing the Democrats for Biden. This guy's way fucking worse than Biden. Like, he is gone.
The 25th Amendment will only be used after all the ground troops, after all the goyim are turned into burger patties. It's only going to be used after that, man. Yeah. It's not going to be, because the thing with the Democrats is that the Democrats, they want Trump to go all in on like Carg Island or any of these other fucking places. They want the 4K HD video or whatever. They all get blown to bits, and then they'll step in and be like, yeah, man, we gotta impeach you for real. Like, not a fake impeachment, like Monica Lewinsky, I didn't have sex with that woman or whatever, right? It's gonna be a real impeachment, right? And once Trump is taken out, man, that's the end of America, right? There's not gonna be like, oh, an American empire, yeah, we were a republic for 200 years, now we're gonna be an empire for... No, dude, it's the end of America. Like, it's the end of America, right? So, and they can say, oh, it's part of a 12D chess, or I don't know what that sound is, bro. Okay. Someone is.
Oh, that's,
all right. Okay. Now that took care of it. Okay. Anyhow. So what I was going to say was that, with the background noise out of the way, they can say this is 12D chess or whatever the fuck, right? But no one's buying it. Like, they can see the American bases being pulverized or whatever.
2D chess, my friend.
Yeah, 12D chess, man.
Checkers.
Checkers, man. Full fucking checkers. Full fucking checkers.
No, there's no way the American empire can rebuild. It's just the cost of materials is too high. They had their sweet spot. They had their time when they were king and everything was cheap, and they've just squandered it.
Yeah.
And they're squandering all the goodwill they have left. I write about this in my Substack article I just published about how they're taking up these tactics with Cuba now that they learned from Gaza. They learned from their Israeli vassal how to be more brutal. So the Americans are squandering all that goodwill they built with their multilateral systems, their global liberal freedom for everyone, bringing you democracy. It's all over. And that's the last little bit of cachet they had left. And Trump's just pissing that all away.
Yeah, if you think about it now compared to what Obama had in place, I'm no Obama fan, but he'd managed to put Iran in the box, right?
Oh, yeah. The Iran deal is one of the best things he did, actually.
And they were willing to put that.
Diplomacy.
It was the only rational move on the chessboard. Because the thing is, right, if you ever fight Iran in an actual war, right, the amount of damage Iran can do to you by like actually starving you to death with the Straits of Hormuz, it's far higher, right? And so the rational thing was to use sanctions and these other things that delay things out, right? But Trump broke that, and now he's in a fucking disastrous war with Iran, and it's going to end in total American defeat. And the thing is, right, like, Trump is so fucking retarded that him getting defeated by Iran, it might end like 6 centuries of like, Western dominance on the seas. That's how big this is with regard to how fucking retarded. Because like what Trump has done is, NATO, help us. Oh, Japan, help us. Send fucking ships over. And like a lot of these countries, they've spent all of this money on like surface level combatants, whether it's like these destroyers or these frigates or whatever, right? Well, what if it's the case that you've spent hundreds of billions of dollars, but all of that money is irrelevant, right? Well, if that's irrelevant, then that means you don't have a navy or a military, man. You spent it all on the wrong shit, right? Like, there's a guy on the Telegram group, and Circa, Tony knows what I'm talking about, right? But like, this guy, I asked him, okay, so, you think, for example, China is going to do a suicide invasion of Taiwan, which I don't think is going to happen, by the way. I think the Chinese are intelligent, right? Unlike the Americans, right? But, based on your worldview, right, why is it not the case that the Japanese are sending ships to the Straits of Hormuz to open it up? Because again, they're importing 95% of their stuff. And for them, it's an existential matter, right? If Hormuz is not open, they're fucked, man. So why haven't they sent anything? And he couldn't answer. And I basically told him, look, here's my hunch, right? My hunch is that the reason they've not sent it is because they're incapable of opening the place, man. They're incapable. Because, like, if they send even 1 or 2 destroyers over, Iran's going to sink that baby, right? Iran's going to sink it, and Iran's going to show everyone, if you have a destroyer or a frigate or whatever the fuck, it's useless. It's worse than useless. It's just a scrap of metal, right? And if that's the case, man, it's got big implications because, governments aren't just fighting other governments. That's what people need to understand. Governments also have to keep up this aura of invincibility in the face of like terrorists, criminals, warlords, etc., right? What happens to you, the Japanese government, if you show the entire world that my destroyer is useless, my navy is useless? Well, you goad the criminals and the terrorists inside your borders to start taking action, right? So this is a big deal. Like Trump showing weakness, Trump backing off, Trump retreating, Trump getting fucked by Iran, it opens up Pandora's box here, right? And then everyone else begins their attack as well, right? So, before this war started, if you to ask me that, what do you think about war in the Korean Peninsula? I would have said very unlikely, right? But now that like South Korea is being strip mined, the fucking SAD batteries are getting sent over there, and all this other bullshit is happening, I'm gonna have to say, man, I'm sorry, but it looks like Kim Jong-un might attack South Korea, right? If this goes on any further.
Could happen. Could very well happen.
This could very well happen, man. It's now a completely open possibility now.
I don't think that Kim Jong-un is going to attack South Korea. Come on, man. Look, they're very isolationist. And, for all that North Korea is, they still see like South Korea as, their brethren, right? Wayward brethren. I would say so, yes.
Do the Russians view the Ukrainians as brethren even after all of this? I don't think so, man. I think you're
they still look. They see the Ukraine war as an internal matter. They do see the Ukrainians as brethren, but just because you see someone as a brethren does not mean that you will not do what is necessary for your security.
Given
the South Koreans are not posing the same type of threat that the Ukrainians are trying to pose to the Russians. So I don't think and this is the same thing with Taiwan and China, in the sense that as long as no formal independence is declared by Taiwan, they're probably not going. They're very likely not going to move. It's a very different question if, let's say, the DPP government tomorrow, with the backing of the U.S., declares independence. Then yes, war will be inevitable.
They're
But
not. They
as
got
long as
11
that
days of
doesn't
gas
happen,
left, man. They got 11 days of gas left. They're not going to be declaring independence, right? Like that one. That one's already over. Like in terms of like the North Korea South Korea thing, and the Russia Ukraine thing, Ukraine has lost 2 million plus dead combatants on the field, right? In terms of like the refugees and this other stuff, that's like 7 million plus. The entire place has been depopulated. I think any concept of like, well, Russians like us as brethren, that ended several years ago when the wars, like 2022, February 24th, the war started. Maybe within the first year that was gone, man. In terms of like North Korea attacking South Korea, well, let me put it to you this way. If America shows any more weakness, and I think it's going to keep happening, right? That artillery is going to fire into South Korea, right? Because here's the thing that people need to remember about North Korea. North Korea views South Korea as illegitimate for several reasons, right? But if you go back all the way to the Korean War, right, it views South Korea as like a quasi-Japanese outpost. Syngman Rhee and all these other guys, they're just like, okay, well, these are all like a bunch of fucking imperialists, right? Now, you could say that, hey, North Korean leadership today, they've changed their mind. Well, I mean, you can read their official documents. They don't really view South Koreans as quote-unquote brethren like they used to, right? The language is pretty harsh, and if they're telling you something, you should probably listen to them, right? But in terms of like, that war, I'm gonna wait and see what happens on that front, right? If they make their move now, that the Americans can't do anything because like they've already moved all their defensive stuff away, right? All of it is headed towards like
well,
the Middle East, and the South Koreans, they would have to fight against what? 20, 30 times more artillery than they did in the 1950s. They're not going to make it, basically. They would get absolutely pummeled to the ground.
All I'm going to say is I don't think it's likely even with North Korea because, with South Korea, they still have a relatively formidable conventional force. That's the first thing. And
the same force that has American equipment.
Let me finish.
Yeah,
if the North Koreans invade, it's not like the nukes are going to be at play. Now, the other point in terms of Russia, I mean, Russia is still kids' gloves dealing with the Ukrainians. If the Ukrainians they did not see as brethren, they would basically do what they did to Chechnya,
they
right?
conscripted so many men, man. It's not kids' gloves. I'm sorry, but they have conscripted so many men. The war's been going on for 4 years. I think Russia's putting in a good fight here, man. I don't think they're using kids' gloves, right? In terms of the South Korean military, if this is the same military that's like, okay, well, the Americans trained us and the Americans gave us equipment, we're seeing what happening to that equipment right now in the Middle East, bro. It's not very impressive, right?
It seems like at the very least there would be some kind of détente, right?
Between who, sorry?
The Koreans.
There's not going to be détente. South Korea is extremely weak right now. The Americans have cannibalized the equipment. There's no equipment left, right? But let me read this thing.
Air defense. There's no air defense, but they still have a conventional ground force.
They don't have the radar, bro.
And
without the radar, the big radars have been moved away. Without the radars, you're blind. You are completely blind. All this other stuff, they are heavily outmatched by the North Koreans with regard to artillery and these other things, right? The Americans took away the big radar that the South Koreans paid for in 2015, 2016, and they got into sanctions with China over, right? They're completely fucked. They're completely defenseless right now, right?
Because the radars aren't really actually useful to defend against the North Koreans, and this is why China sanctioned South Korea. The Chinese made this explicitly clear, and the South Koreans
is the reason why.
Let me finish.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Of course, the radar is the reason why, but the reason why was because the Americans were using the excuse of the North Koreans to deploy radars that basically could potentially weaken China's nuclear deterrence. And this is why you're seeing in the last 10 years a huge shift in China's nuclear doctrines and also a massive buildup of China's nuclear weapons. Part of it is basically the deployment of those THAAD radars. The THAAD radars were primarily directed. Of course, the Americans won't say it explicitly. They were primarily directed against the Chinese, the same way that the American missile defenses that they were putting in Poland and in Romania 10 years ago, they were saying, oh no, under Bush too, they were like, oh no, this is against Iranian missiles, right? But the Russians were saying, no, this is a violation of the anti-ballistic missiles treaty that Bush pulled away from, and that this is basically weakening our nuclear deterrent.
Okay, here's the thing. The SAD radar cannot stop, the SAD radar is not like a magic thing, right? It's not like, okay, well, if China wants to nuke us, we can stop it with the radar or whatever. That's not it, right? The radar is $1.3, $1.5 billion, right? It can see lots of stuff. It can see several thousand kilometers in radius, right? It's not just missiles. It's not just drones. It's all of the above, right? The reason the radar is important is not because it weakens the nuclear deterrent. The reason it's important is because you can use it as your eyes and ears to see and then give everyone prior notice that, hey, 10, 15 minutes from now, we're going to get hit by something, right? Without the radars, right, as we're seeing in Israel right now, 90 seconds to 2 minutes. That's your reaction time, right? America is not in no position to fight China. We're going to use some basic inductive reasoning here. If America is getting its ass kicked by Iran, it does not have the ability to do anything in the Pacific. None whatsoever, right? So all this stuff of well, America was putting the radar to stop the Chinese deterrent. I don't think any of that's true, man. I think what it was that they have an imperial system of tribute, right? And they have a bunch of this junk, which is 50, 60, 70-year-old equipment, and they just get their vassals to pay for it. That's all it is, right? It's not like, oh, we have a master plan to checkmate China. Bro, you're using the A-10 Warsaw. That's like a 50-year-old plane, man. You got no plan, right? But anyhow, I was gonna read this out. I finally found it. Okay. Jim Ferguson, UK. Panic buying is spreading across Asia. Now in Thailand, fuel stations being overwhelmed as people rush to fill up. This is no longer isolated. We are now seeing supply pressure, public reaction, rapid escalation across multiple countries. Once panic sets in, it moves fast. Fuel is the target, and everything after that will follow. Yeah, so watch this closely. Basically, people are already beginning to empty out these fuel stations and what have you. It's gonna get much worse. It's gonna get much worse. Dun 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 dun.
Thought I saw Russia put export controls on gold bullion as well.
There will be export controls on everything. Hormuz is not just about oil and gas. That's what people need to understand, right? It's about helium, it's about sulfur, it's about all of the above, right? So people are focusing on oil and gas, that's fine, right? But there's 50, 60 other things that they should be focusing on, right? And without these things, the American economy stops functioning, right? America is not a fucking autarky. That's bullshit, right? That's when people use that word, you should laugh at them because they're being a bunch of goyim. They're being pure cattle when they use that word, right? So
the belief is strong in this, though. They really believe in their self-sufficiency and that they don't need the rest of us or anyone else.
The hilarious thing when the American burgers, when the goyim moo that loudly, is because in any look at recent history shows you that this is false, right?
When the cow moves that loudly.
When the cow moves that loudly. Yeah. That's what the Americans are, man.
Oh, come on. During COVID. Yeah, and during COVID, you remember when Americans were cheering, oh, look, China, there's instability in China and all that shit. Zero COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's a walk in the park. Folks, COVID is fucking child's play compared to what we're about to see. This is going to be an order of magnitude worse than COVID, man.
Well, I was just going to say, the thing I was going to say is it's for these people, I was just thinking, do they not really think, all your shit is made in China? If there is chaos in China, none of you are getting consumer goods. And I've never seen someone so happily cheering for the potential destruction of their living standards.
Well, it's just Sir Meow Meow, it's just the SNAP benefits. They cheer for the destruction of their own country and people, and seemingly unknowingly, but then the rest of us think it's so obvious that you're blowing your own foot off here, but go ahead, I guess.
Yeah, or, that white lady that got killed in Minnesota? It's I thought, those guys, America First, what do they say, Heritage Americans?
Yeah, Heritage Americans.
They were Heritage Americans, all that bullshit.
People, man. Why are we calling them people? They're a bunch of cattle. They're a bunch of goyim. Yeah, just call them goyim, man.
All right, the prime goyim.
The heritage cattle.
They were like
The cattle, yeah.
heritage cattle. They were like, oh, we got to protect. And it's like this white lady that's like, okay, she has like colored hair. She's a lesbian, all right, but she's like a white lady with kids. And they were just fucking cheering on, like, just got like fucking killed, executed in like broad daylight. I was like, holy shit, man. Like, I got my problem with fucking white women. Like, a lot of them are like Karens and they're fucking annoying as hell. But I don't want them to die or anything, like get publicly executed for no reason.
Well, if
like
the premise of their argument is heritage America needs to be preserved at all costs, then you shouldn't kill white mothers, I guess.
Yeah, it's
they don't have an argument. Like they pretend that that's their view, but all it is that they're a bunch of cattle. The herdsmen whipped them on Wednesday, and so on Wednesday they care about white women, right? On Thursday they care about something else. On Friday they care about Israel, and on Saturday they care about Israel. That's what this is, man. You gotta view them as cattle. They're not fucking people.
And the herdsmen are like, we gotta get them through that pass up there. Whip harder.
Whip harder, exactly, yeah, exactly. Bro, listen. If you view them as like people and they're like, okay, well, they're capable of cognitive processing and, they said they're anti-war, but now they're pro-invading Iran with 15,000 troops, you're always going to fuck up. Like, if you try to view them as people, your modeling is always going to fail. What I'm telling you to do is they're a bunch of goyim, they're a bunch of cattle. If you whip the cattle around, like I said, on Friday, they'll care about one thing. On Sunday evening, they'll care about something else. That's how you got to view it as, right? If you view it that way, then things make a lot more sense, right? Like what was the name? There's that fucking lady in that fucking goyim, that she-goyim, the fucking she-goyim in like CPAC. They're like, President Trump is a president of peace. I believe that after this war with Iran, there will be peace all over the world. I'm like, lady,
you're talking about Laura Loomer or?
No, it was some other fucking blonde lady, fucking goyim, blonde goyim. But like, the point I'm making is that, lady, you fucking goyim, Iran defeating America doesn't bring peace to the world. Iran defeating America ends Western civilization. You realize this, right? Like, without the oil, the gas, and all this other shit, right? The lifestyle that you live, the suburban lifestyle, I gotta drive to work and all this is all fucking dead. It's all fucking dead, right? Because if you've got, and we've seen the numbers, right? 97%, 98% of the Straits of Hormuz, de facto that traffic is gone, right? The rest of it is like friendly countries. They get the oil and gas and everything. But if Europe and America and Japan and all these other guys, they don't get the stuff, man, they can't run their societies. I'm sorry. They can't run their societies without energy, without helium, without sulfur, etc., etc., etc. Right? So,
you're going to need to explain this to me like I'm 5 years old. So my OnlyFans account and my DraftKings account, how will those be affected, Saranoff?
The people who pay you for OnlyFans and DraftKings, they have to do real jobs and they have to drive to those real jobs using oil and gas.
Right.
If they can't drive to those jobs and can't get your fucking shekel money to pay you, you're fucked as well.
This is not looking good.
We're on day 28, man. Like, wait till you see what happens in like month 6 or like month 12. It's gonna be hilarious.
When the shekels per goyim rate really goes through the floor.
Yeah, shekels per goyim. Oh, shekels per goyim.
Oh gosh, I'm just laughing and laughing here.
Mm.
Oh, I'm sure you guys already saw. Did you see this? Apparently, there's a new trend in Israel where like people are like purposely waiting while shopping or like restaurants.
The dine and dash on the siren, yeah.
Dine and dash. I saw that. Mm-hmm.
It's like, what do they say to each other? Like, don't be a freer or frer or something, like Yiddish for like, don't be like, the word freer or frer, F-R-I-E-R or E-I-R. Like, it's like the Yiddish or like Jewish for like, don't be a sucker or something. And it's like, they just do all this. This is not a society that is like self-sustaining, yeah.
Yeah, they're like rolling themselves into the shelter full of a friggin' meal. Like, how
They're
worried can you
losing.
be? How worried can you be
They're
if you're
losing. Yeah. They're losing like over 100 tanks destroyed or damaged every month now that they're fighting in Lebanon, right? By the end of this year, they'll have nothing left. If that's the rate they want to do. Like, obviously they can say that, okay, well, we won, quote unquote, and then retreat, right? But that kind of fucks up their society more. But this society, I will be like actually surprised if they get to their like 80th birthday or whatever, right? Um,
Oh,
you know,
oh yeah, I totally agree. They're going to go the way of the Crusader states. Like, this is an
mhm,
artificial society propped up by outside forces. Like the
mhm,
Crusade, that's basically they're basically echoes of the Crusader state. The Crusader state didn't last for what, like overall, like just not even Jerusalem, but this like in the Levant, they last for just about around 100 years. Like
mhm,
they seem to be a much shorter span,
mhm.
like Israel. And once Israel leaves, once Israel no longer exists, I'm very certain those Jewish interest groups are going to go the way of like the Knights Templars, right? Once basically the Crusades ended or the end of the era, like, yeah, the Catholic Church just purged the Knights Templars. Like, they're too powerful. They've got too much interest in all this stuff. I'm very certain that this is going to happen to organizations like APAC.
scattered to the wind?
Yeah,
It's gonna be
essentially.
anti-Semitism. It's gonna be anti-Semitism of like the 1150s. Not the anti-Semitism of the 1850s, the anti-Semitism of the 1150s. That's where this thing is headed.
Yikes.
Uh, yeah.
I wonder
Well,
what
you
you
could,
guys
in
might
a way,
say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sir Meow Meow.
I was going to say, you could say in a way that the flow of history has returned, right? Like the aberration at the end of the Second World War is like, oh, people have like take a pity on Jewish people, and then they get their own state. And then it's like they get their own state and they actually are a bunch of assholes. And then it's like historically, it's like, maybe historically there is a reason why we were not nice to the Jews. Anyway, and then now we're just going back to like what history, the standard operations, the standard historical flow that we see, or the general historical trends that exist.
It's less about historical flow and more about the relationship between Christians and Jews. Christians and Jews, uh, Christians in particular view Jews as the enemy. Did the World War II thing of like, uh, oh, Judeo-Christian civilization or whatever, that's all rubbish, right? So that's going away. In terms of like historical flow, I mean, the Jews have never changed their minds on the Christians. They've always been like, okay, yeah, this universal ethics and whatever that you're trying to do on us, let's not do this thing because we don't believe in this stuff, right? So that's what that is. All right. 4 hours ago. 4 hours ago. What is this? Bar chart. Pressure building on the Japanese yen as it continues. 2 minutes ago. Pressure building on the Japanese yen as it continues to weaken closer to this 160 level against the US dollar. Okay. So the Japanese yen might get destroyed. Perfect. Perfect time. Nasdaq 100 enters technical correction after falling more than 10% from its January high. Oh, a good Sir Al-Muqtasim. You don't have to raise your hand. Just speak, man. Go for it.
What's up, guys?
How are you enjoying the fall of the American Empire, good sir?
Oh man, I just wanted to drop by and say hi to Nova Scotia Tony. We've been having some fun with Brother Naji making like boomer memes or whatever. So I'm
Nice.
having a great time. I'm enjoying the apocalypse.
Yes, I've been enjoying it. Yes, we're having fun, aren't we?
We are, yeah. You know, it's not hitting. I'm in Chile, right? So it hasn't hit yet. Like the gas is starting to go up, and so we've got a new government. It's like a week old or something, and people are blaming the government like nobody realizes the scale of the shit. The size of this shit. So I'm prepping. I'm prepping in my own way. I've just moved. to my own place. I'm fixing it. I bought a lot of paint. I bought all the petrochemicals I thought I would need. So
Good man. Yeah.
I'm cozying in and sitting in for a long winter. And actually, we're getting into winter, so that's all. I don't got any intel. I just wanted to say hi to you guys.
Paint is probably going to get a whole lot more expensive, isn't it?
Yeah,
Everything's gonna get more expensive, man. Everything's gonna get more expensive.
everything is. So I bought RAM, and painting and paint.
I actually just went and bought a new piece of equipment as well, computer equipment that I needed because I know that's going to go through the roof.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of hard drives and
Memory, RAM.
RAM and hard drives, so I can store my shit.
Well, I mean, you're gonna need quite a bit of stuff, man. But Sir Kenaz.
Hello.
Woo!
I'm just here to celebrate the collapse. Hope everybody's having a good time as the world goes to an
Are you
end.
winning, Sir Kenaz?
I'm winning so hard I can barely contain myself.
Sir Kenez doesn't even want to go to sleep at night. He's winning so much. He's going to miss out on winning if he goes to sleep.
Yeah, it's every time I wake up, I'm like, surely things will be even worse when I wake up, and every time.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, it is just.
So Sir Kenaz, the gentleman, expat American, he wants us on his Sunday show. So I let him know that you can show up. I also sent out a feeler to Sir Malcolm. So it's gonna be the three of us on his show. Basically, it's gonna be 90 minutes to 2 hours. It'll be about Iran, but yeah, it's gonna be a good show because I think he's got like 90,000 subscribers or whatever, and even his like smaller live shows, they get like 4,000, 5,000 views or whatever, right? So it's a good way to like branch into a bigger audience.
Sir Enoff, will this be a live that we can listen to, or is it going to be pre-recorded?
I believe it's a live. It's going to be Sunday, 11 a.m. EST, which I believe is 6 p.m. Moscow time.
On whose account? I'm sorry.
Expat American. So give me a second. Let me find the guy
right away.
No worries, man. No worries. He has a lot of the guests on. He's got like Andrei Martyanov. He's got all these other guys on, right? So let me just copy paste onto the comments here. But yeah, it's gonna be a good show because we're gonna talk about, like, the topic of the discussion is going to be America's last war, right? I'm going to make the thesis or the argument that after this war, there's not going to be an America, right? And I think Sir Kenaz and Sir Malcolm will make their pitches with regard to why they think that's the case or why they think that's not the case, right? But it's going to be like a team effort, basically, right? Like Doom Squad will assemble. I wish we had JMG on, but like Doom Squad will assemble and will show everyone once and for all that this is it, man. Lights out, everyone's gonna die, game over, you lose, thanks for playing, you get nothing.
I mean, I think there may still be an America after this, just like in 450 AD, you still had people calling themselves the Roman Empire.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It's like, I expect, you may well have a president in Washington giving orders a century from now to the people along, like, the rural area that used to be the Boswash corridor being the only ones who listened to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I agree with that, and I put in the YouTube link for Expat American, so if you just go to the comments section for this spaces that we're doing, you can check that out, gents. But, yeah, no, we're gonna be on that show, inshallah. Sunday, morning EST, afternoon Moscow time, right? But that's what's going to happen. All right. What does the G-Man say? Iran is a country of 90 million people who probably still remember the Iraq War, barely remember, and when they do, it's just exactly, yeah. Like it's not just lack of equipment. It's not just fire control. It's not just geography and missiles and drones or whatever. It's also like the intangible stuff. Like America today is not like, okay, well, yeah, another war in the sandbox. Let's go, baby. Like, no. Good luck finding someone who's not a Jew and not a sodomite who supports that stuff. So there you go. Oh dear. What is this? Heavy water reactor in Iraq has been targeted by Israeli airstrikes. Okay, so basically, they've chosen death, I guess. That's how it's gonna be.
Yeah, like that's a guaranteed to get Damona hit within the next couple days, I would think.
Basically, yeah. Basically. Ay.
I just wonder if the Gulf monarchies would survive this. Like, I don't think
they
the
won't.
UAE or Qatar would survive.
They're not
Jordan, I think Jordan is definitely going to collapse.
Bahrain's not going to survive. UAE's not going to survive. Kuwait and Qatar might sneak by, but I don't think even those guys are going to survive. The entire Middle East is going to be redrawn. All of it. All of it will be redrawn.
I just want to see the Palestine part. I just want to see the big, shiny new Palestine we get after this.
Well, Sir Kenaz, I mean, we're going to get lots of big, shiny shit, right? We might get, like, regime change in Turkey because, like, everyone's like, all right, Erdogan, move out of the way. You're not radical enough. We need someone who's going to start shooting missiles at Israel, right? You're not it, guys. Sorry. Right, that'll be fun.
I just want to see Tel Aviv turned into a parking lot.
That's already happening, man. Patience. It's going to take a bit of time.
Yeah, no.
I mean, yeah, go ahead, Sir Kenneth.
I mean, I don't see, like, Turkey and Russia are two of the great foreign blunders of the United States. We could have incorporated Russia into a Eurasia which was friendly to us. We would have had friends located from the border of China and India to throughout Europe. We could have reintegrated Russia and the former Soviet Union into the West. We decided to loot it.
Oh, yeah.
And, Turkey wanted very much to be a full part of the European Union. They were like, they would have been, they're the only army worth a shit in NATO other than the United States, and I might skip the United States. But, we got instead, we treated them like third-class citizens. Now, when things are starting to reorganize, I mean, of course they're starting to realize, with all these empires falling, it might be time to bring the Ottoman Empire back.
I think with Russia, I don't think the U.S. was ever going to be able to have a conciliatory tone just because of who the Americans have in their foreign policy. Like, I'm sure you guys see it, right? There seems to be a tendency to get, like, Eastern Slavs from, like, former, Warsaw Pact countries to run American foreign policy, like Brezhnev, Madeleine Albright, all of these people. And you just have, like, some of the biggest Russophobes in American foreign policy. Like, when there shouldn't be Russophobes. Like, you remember George Kennan, right? George Kennan was very critical of America's basically incorporation of the Baltic states and of the expansion of NATO, even like Poland. And he was saying, like, this is going to, like, he predicted what inevitably would have happened with Ukraine. And he said, like, this is going to create a bad reaction. And when the Russians react badly to this, we're like, see, it was a good idea to expand NATO. And it's like a self-reinforcing thing. I just remember the end. It's like, Kennan was like, there was this great historical moment. And then the giants of the day, like Clinton, Albright, they come together and they produced a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's probably a good thing he died. I think he died in 98. It's probably a good thing he died in 98 before seeing like George W. Bush, or even Donald Trump become president. Like, can you imagine what Kennan, Kennan today, seeing like what the shit that's happening?
Well, sadly, I think that he was wrong in a way, because America is about expansionism, right? Like, I agree. In theory, it's rational what he was saying, but America is governed by God to expand. And that's why I think they shake hands so nicely with the Israelis. Like, their manifest destiny granted by God is what's truly driving their insanity in the world.
The Goyim craves to be his master, right? So this is, once you understand this, everything else makes sense, right? Like, ethno-state, nationalism, it's all a bunch of fucking like hand-me-down, third-rate, second-rate like clothes. It's like, he's wearing those clothes. Why can't I wear them? Why can't I wear them? Right? That's why the Goyim moves so loudly, right?
Yeah, it's
like
all suck thumbs.
Shit.
It's all suck thumbs and held skirts.
Yeah, like for example, 7 hours ago, right? Japan's 10-year government bond yield rises to the highest level since 1999. Most people don't even understand what that fucking means, right? But if you explain to the Goyim that your entire world is about to fall apart right now, like, no, not like 10 years from now, not 5 years from now, right now, right? The only thing that they're capable of mooing loudly is, I want this, I want 90% white neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. Buddy, you're fucking Goyim, you're cattle, you don't matter, alright? Thanks for playing, you lose, good day, sir, off you go, into the wood chipper, right? So.
into big Rwanda.
Into big Rwanda, man. It's a big Rwanda. America is just big Rwanda, right? J.D. Vance admits he is willing to, quote, create stories, unquote, to get media attention. Shocked Pikachu face. All right.
Did he really? Oh my God.
That's all they've been doing. This whole fucking war has been a kayfabe war. They don't seem to be concerned with like, okay, how are we getting boots on the ground? What is our strategy? What is our exit strategy? What is winning? They seem to be more interested in, hey, I just got some really dank memes, dude.
Yeah. I saw a clip from Trump yesterday. He was on this tirade about how he's handing out too many $1,000 pens because he has all these $1,000 pens that he used to give autographs with, and he just hands them to kids and they lose track of them. And it's like, don't you realize, like, you're in the midst of a empire-ending war right now, you orange PDF retard?
Breaking news, gentlemen. Breaking news. Japanese yen weakens to 160 level above the US dollar for the first time since July 2024. All right, grab your popcorn. It might be happening. It might actually be happening.
Because if that
just
goes...
so we're clear. Just so we're clear what that means. If there's a consolidation, it hasn't happened yet, right? It could happen. It might not happen, right? But if there's a consolidation above 160, the next ceiling is 260, right? So let's do some math, gentlemen. 160, 260. 40% depreciation. 40% depreciation with like Japan, who owns, I'm going to say, $1.5, $2 trillion worth of American bonds. Sir Kenaz. Let's do some maths. 2 trillion. 2 trillion, what's 40% of 2 trillion?
40% of 2 trillion is 800 billion.
That's how many treasuries are in jeopardy, Sir Kenaz, if this goes to 260.
And the market closes in 3 out, 4.
Whatever. I don't know. It may not, right?
But a very bad indicator.
Yeah. All the things are happening at the same time. Bond market's collapsing. Fucking stock market is barely holding on. Commodities markets, oil, and these other things are fucking falling apart. It's so fucking funny, man.
15,000 burgers are headed to the Mideast.
Yeah. They're gonna get turned into fucking grill burger, man. Sir Kenneth, actually, now that you're here, I want to ask you something. 15,000 burgers. Let's say a couple hundred of them are getting turned into grilled burgers every day. What kind of effect will that have on American society now that, like, FPV drones are saying and you can see the dead burgers live?
Well, this has been something I've been talking about since like the first stirrings of trouble. We don't have within living memory a major mass casualty event. You know, the closest thing we've got to that is 9/11.
Yeah, 9/11.
You know, we've got, they lost somewhere between, during the 80 to 88 Iraq-Iran war, Iran lost somewhere, estimates are between 200,000, 700,000. Some people say could have been as high as 1 million. That's a country of 90 million people. So about, 35, 40% of our population.
Yeah.
So, they've had enormous casualty events in living memory. They don't like them. Nobody ever likes them, but they have a place to wrap their head around with it. We don't have that. When we start, seeing ships speaking of ships, the laundry fire on the Gerald R. Ford also shut down its radar and its launch systems.
Yes, Sir Ken.
That's
obviously
one
that's
hell of a laundry fire.
Every uniform on the ship was affected.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, the plumbing system is poorly designed, so, I mean, maybe they designed the laundromats on the Gerald Ford very poorly, like linking the systems together.
It's how dare you, chastise the, technical marvel and the engineering prowess of the mighty USS Gerald Ford. Obviously, the Americans were gods among men, right? They designed something so impeccable that that's surely not the case, right? It's just a big laundry fire. Don't worry about it, guys. It'll be back in service in like 14 months.
This is actually giving me a really good idea for a screenplay, Top Gun 3, and it's based in the laundry room of the aircraft carrier. And Tom Cruise has to escape the fire.
Oh, dude.
I mean, no one really believes this. Like, come on. The laundry fire thing is such a humiliating lie, but that's where we are with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You may not believe it, but you're not basically a sucker for Israel.
Yeah, I remember George Costanza saying it's not a lie if you believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so funny. All right. Secondary effects. Secondary impacts. Brazil, the world's largest sugar producer and exporter, is expected to cut shipments starting in April by 14% as mills divert sugarcane to make ethanol due to high energy prices, consultancy firm Safras and Mercado said on Thursday. Hooray, Sir Kenaz! Your coffee is about to get a lot more expensive.
Thank God I don't take sugar in my coffee.
So what? Is this the plan that they're just going to pivot to like 60% corn oil in everyone's engine?
There's no fucking plan, man. There's no fucking plan. We are on day 28, all right? We're on day 28 and people are already saying 14% diversion. Do you realize how big this crisis is? Right? This is like horrendous. We're not on month 6 is when things actually start breaking down. We're on month 1. This is the fucking appetizer, man. Like, you go to a restaurant, fancy restaurant, you order the dishes. This is the fucking appetizer. We've not even gone to the second course or the main course yet. We've not gotten to the fucking dessert yet.
It's not even the appetizer. It's like the free bread that the fancy restaurant gives you before you even order the appetizer.
Yeah, it's the fucking like water. You drank like the free complimentary drink. This is what it's getting you right now.
Oh man.
Yeah, this is just such, I say this every time we're at, such an unforced error.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew, if Donald Trump had only listened to Eurabiamania, you'd have been like, good points, tremendous, spectacular. We get it. We understand. These guys are great. Maybe the best people, maybe the best doomers ever. They got a point. We can't fight Iran. We shouldn't, we should go with something else.
I guess that would entail that America's not great if they can't do whatever they want to, right?
Yeah, that's the issue, right?
We're great. We're just not great at fighting Iran.
Oh, dear.
Look, America is great the same way that AQ is great in achieving what he would call spiritual victory. So in Americans' heads, if you guys got a chance, read the true story of AQ by Lu Xun. He was talking about Chinese people about like 100 years ago, over 100 years ago, like in the 1900s, but like a lot of the attitudes, and I would say like especially about the intelligentsia, like there's a lot of parallels between the intelligentsia in America and in the late Qing dynasty, just like this type of arrogance and the cultural insularity. It's incredible to witness. So, I mean, yeah, he's basically achieved like every humiliation. America just tells itself we've achieved spiritual victory. Just look at Trump. How many times did he win against Iran already? He's declared that
5 times. He wins 5 times every day. Every day he wins 5 or 6 times. Oh dear. All right, let me read this thing. This is actually relevant to the topic of the discussion. All right. Shanaka Anslam. The war at Hormuz does not end at the gas pump, it ends at the grocery store. Urea at the port of New Orleans just hit $690 per ton. It was $475 3 weeks ago. That is a 45% surge in the nitrogen fertilizer that American corn depends on to exist. The Fertilizer Institute says U.S. farmers are short roughly 2 million tons of nitrogen for spring planting season. USDA projecting 94 million corn acres for 2026, already down 4.6 million from last year. That projection was made before the Straits of Hormuz closed, before urea doubled in price, before the planting window started closing. Here is the part nobody is now modeling. Roughly 25 to 30% of global traded nitrogen moves through the Straits of Hormuz. The strait has been functionally closed for the last 27 days. Qatar Energy halted downstream urea production after the missile strikes on Ras Laffan. China has restricted fertilizer exports to protect its domestic market. Europe is still running at 75% nitrogen production capacity because of high natural gas costs from the Russia-Ukraine war. 3 of the world's 4 major nitrogen supply sources are simultaneously constrained. That has never happened before. American Farm Bureau Federation President Zippy Duvall wrote directly to Trump, calling it a production shock threatening national security. CRU Group's Chris Lawson told CNBC that 30% of global urea trade comes out of Iran and Hormuz-constrained countries. If farmers aren't able to get the urea that they need, crop yields will inevitably go lower. It takes 30 days for a vessel of urea to load in the Persian Gulf, sail to the U.S., and reach the interior. The vessel loading today might not arrive until May the 1st. The spring application window does not wait for a ceasefire. Every week of continued disruption pushes more acreage from nitrogen-intensive corn towards soybeans. Once planted, that decision is irreversible for the growing season. Okay, corn-urea ratio is 87 to 90, 5-year CME, This is not a commodity circle. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, the so-called mighty autarky America is also getting hit. So, people are going to be laughing for a while at the vassals, but not for long. Not for long.
By the way, so I just sent you a private message about the Gorilla Channel stuff. Trump's thinking that there's a Gorilla Channel, and then I also put it in the chat. So if you want to take a look, if you guys want to take a look, I also sent it on the Spaces chat. Or the Spaces.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be miserable. It's gonna be miserable. Doo-doom dee doom. Yeah, so America is going to be affected by the fertilizer crisis. It's going to be affected by the shortage of helium, shortage of sulfur, obviously. And then there's also another big one people need to consider, shortage of jet fuel, right? So planes and these other things will stop functioning. So there you go.
I mean, this is, how millennials complain about affordable housing? I think the next generation, Zoomers, are going to be like, oh, at least millennials get to travel the world with cheap flights and everything.
Yeah, I think that's probably very true.
Oh yeah.
Or this is just God's way of saying, you better start building high-speed rail.
Yes.
High-speed rail's not going to solve anything. High-speed rail doesn't solve the fundamental fact that helium, sulfur, oil, gas, and these other things run modern civilization, right? So, what are we at right now? Middle East oil prices outpace gains in other benchmarks. Yeah, we already know that. Iran war, people keep talking about, it's not. Okay, so yeah, everything's falling apart. Everything is falling apart. Breaking news 17 minutes ago. Iran says it will strike steel plants in Israel and 5 other Gulf countries in retaliation for recent attacks on its own steel plants. Lovely. Lovely. Destroy it all, Iran. Destroy global civilization. I know you want to. Oh, we got Sir Arnav Jindal in the house. All right.
Arnav!
All right. We got Sir Arnav Jindal in the house. All right. There we go.
Sir Arnav, can you give us an update from the India front? How are the gas lines looking?
How are the gas lines looking in India? Okay, just give it a moment. He might be having some technical difficulties. I'll try and make him speaker again.
I know he mentioned there was some black market activity happening.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's speaker now. Try saying something, Sir Arnav. As we wait for that to happen, let's see what else is happening in this war. Yeah, they're gonna hit steel plants next. Experts say Iran has not requested. Yeah, go ahead, man.
We got Sir Arnav with us. Yay.
Go ahead, man.
No, I was just saying that in Bangladesh they're shutting down universities and stuff fuel.
Yeah, that's right.
In Thailand,
we got
bureaucrats to use the stairs, then the lift.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we got 3 weeks. We got 3 weeks left, and if we ration properly, we can probably extend that to 4 or 5 weeks. But realistically, we need to get those ships. I mean, the good news is Iran has given us an exemption, so the ships are going to arrive. It's just going to be a bit late. So it's not the end of the world for us. For the fucking Europeans and the Australians, so they're not getting any oil. Yeah. So we're going to have a few, hard
the Australians are going to
Yeah. The thing with Bangladesh.
They're allowing the oil.
Yeah. The thing with Bangladesh is that we have rickshaws, right? So if you can't use the fucking car, just take the fucking rickshaw, right? But if you're in fucking Australia, man, and you can't drive, you are fucked. But anyway, go ahead, good sir. You were saying something.
No, but you're 100% correct. But I was saying that they are allowing the oil ships to go, but not the fertilizer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and interesting thing is that the insurance, the ships are only getting insurance if the IRGC are approving it. So,
Yeah, that's right.
so this is also like, like that they're not
Mm-hmm.
even taking single amount of risk.
Oh yeah, bro.
So it's
Oh
pretty
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
I just think that
Iran is
if the Western countries were willing to talk to Iran like adults and treat them how they would treat one another, maybe we would get a lot
that's not
further.
gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen because like whether it's the racism, whether it's like the solipsism, the ethnocentrism, all this other bullshit, right? They're all a bunch of goyim, so they're incapable of these things, right? So let's be realistic here, right? It's not gonna happen, right? A couple million of them have to starve first, and then they have to stop speaking about their societies in like lofty terms and all of your other societies, they fucking suck. But that's gonna take, like I said, a few million people starving. After that happens, then they might say one or two reasonable things, right? But I'm not holding my breath on that.
It certainly hasn't materialized so far.
No, it's not going to materialize. This is going to happen. This is going to be like several weeks and months, this crisis, right? All right. The Islander, 2 hours ago, 3 container ships tried to enter the Straits of Hormuz this morning. All 3 were intercepted by the IRGC and forced to reverse, confirmed via maritime tracking data. The IRGC statement was surgical. Following the lies of the corrupt US president claiming the strait was open, 3 ships turned back. Lloyd's List confirms Iran has now installed a de facto toll booth, charging ships up to $2 million per transit, settled in yuan. That burned hull in the video kept reigniting for weeks. That's the alternative to pay. Yeah, they're shooting at the tankers. They're shooting at the tankers. Sir Kenneth, I thought the entire Iranian navy was destroyed. Librarian of Silano and all these like fucking substackers told me so.
Yeah, well,
what happened to the navy? Yeah.
Well, I thought it's been destroyed several times. I mean, apparently they just keep like dredging it back up and then bombing it repeatedly. I mean, how many times has the Navy been destroyed, and yet somehow they still got a Navy?
It's been destroyed 14 times, Sir Kenaz. Don't worry. 14 times. Completely destroyed 14 times over. Oh my gosh. So much fun. Jeez, man. Gulf Arab countries. Oh, let me read this. This is funny. All right. Gulf Arab countries are urging the U.S. to ensure that any agreement with Iran goes beyond simply ending the war. It should also permanently limit Iran's missile and drone capabilities. Yeah, good luck with that. Gulf officials have privately told Washington that Iran has provided them with no diplomatic off-ramp. They are calling for agreeable limits on missile. Basically, Sir Kenaz, all of the Gulf states are going to become extinct. All of them. They're all headed towards extinction.
I'm kind of expecting that, yeah. I don't really see, at this point, I mean, Dubai, like the United Arab Emirates, the Gulf states appear to exist to be places where wealthy people can avoid taxes.
Yeah.
It's like it's a safe place to go. They got great weather, beautiful beaches. You can do pretty much whatever you want so long as you got money. This place is, it's Epstein Island in Arabic. But it's like, yeah. After this, it's going to be years, if ever, before those wealthy people feel safe coming back.
They ain't coming back, Sir Kenaz. They ain't coming back. That's the fun part about all of this.
Well, I'm hearing that a lot of the capital in the Gulf states are now moving to either Hong Kong or Singapore. So it's basically drifting to those two places.
They'll move a few things over, but like fundamentally, what you're gonna see is not capital moving per se, but capital getting destroyed. Iran is destroying the refineries. Iran is destroying the steel plants. Iran is destroying the power plants, right? So like, yeah, a couple of people will move away, but many of them will simply lose whatever they have, right? We are headed back to the world where like, sovereignty is determined by kinetic muscle and force, right? It's like, well, I got this much money, man. I got soft power. Yeah, buddy, you don't fucking matter. All right, I'll fucking shoot you and kill you, right? That's basically what this is.
And it seems to be tied to a regionality, like a localism of a sort, driving a parasite from the region.
So much fun, man. So
Yeah,
much
I mean,
fun.
how long?
Didn't
Go
these
ahead,
MAGA people wanted that?
Didn't they want what?
No,
Sorry?
what I was saying that didn't these MAGA people wanted it? Like localism, like they wanted like America should not be involved in these places and whatnot. Like didn't they want that? So they are getting what they want.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Well. I mean, they say they want it, but in reality they don't, right? Like when they go to Walmart, like when they go to Walmart. Okay, I don't know where that sound's coming from. There's a lot of sound. Okay, give me a second. All right. Anyhow, so what I was gonna say was that enough. We want autarky and localism and whatever, buddy. When you go to Walmart, or whatever, right? All of that stuff, right? Check the label for that. Where is it from? Is it from America or is it from some other part of the world, right? Like, it's completely unrealistic, right? Like, they want, like, a 1950s, 1910s, 1920s lifestyle. But in reality, like, their standard of living is propped up by the vassals, right? The vassals give you stuff that you then import and you sell, right? The vassals give you the credit card, which you swipe to buy stuff. The vassals give you this, man. Like, localism and all this other shit. It's all bullshit. All of it is bullshit, right? And that's why, like, they've reverted back to their, like, factory setting, which is like neocon, right? Neoconservatism, right? And it's like, well, if we just defeat Iran and everything will be fine again. No, it won't, right? Because you're going to lose the war. So, oh dear. So fun, man. U.S.-Iran ceasefire by December 31st. Will the Iranian regime fall by April 30? No. I'm just watching the market odds for this thing. Polymarket kind of sucks, but, yeah, this is a lot of bullshit happening right now.
I worry for what it means for Cuba and Haiti, because when the bully gets spanked abroad, it's going to come back home for its final. Maybe Iran is the final ass kicking, but they will come home and try to dust someone up in the region again just to prove themselves. And I think Cuba and Haiti.
So it'll be a Bay of the Pigs, man. It'll just be a shittier version of Bay of the Pigs in that case, right? Like, okay, well, let's try and invade with 200 Marines or whatever, right? Like, okay, so then you just die in fucking Cuba.
Yeah, that's what I've kind of figured would be the result of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't doubt that they won't try, right?
That will come from that. You got the migration that will happen from Haiti to America. So, like if they try aborting, it's going to be double trouble for them.
Yeah.
I don't even think people are going to migrate to America, bro. Like, if America collapses, like, why would you go to a place where, like, the food prices and all these other things are going up, right? And people are running away from it, right? That's the thing, right? Because if you go somewhere, right, like the whole point of migration is there's different reasons, like refugee and all these other categories, right? But one of the reasons you do it is for better economic life, right? So, which they're not going to get. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Islamic Revolution Guard Corps, IRGC, announced that Wave 84 of Operation True Promise was carried out in coordinated strike on Prince Sultan Air Base, targeting several U.S. air refueling aircraft and logistical support units.
So we're losing more airplanes.
Yeah. Don't worry, Sir Kenneth. It's only a laundry fire. Don't worry about it. And also, drones miss 99% of the time, and so do missiles.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. That is really a great consolation. Drones miss 97% of the time. That means, if they send 1,000 out, we're only getting hit by like 30 of them.
Knock to mind 5 minutes ago. Big. Okay, red circle emoji, big red circle emoji. New high-resolution satellite imagery from today shows that 3 KC-135 refueling aircraft were destroyed and several others severely damaged at a U.S. Army base in Al-Kharj, Prince Sultan Air Base, Saudi Arabia. Oh, wonderful, Sir Kenaz. Absolutely wonderful. There goes some more tankers. By the way, if the tankers are lost, you gotta get the aircraft in closer. You gotta, so if you take off from like Israel or Jordan, right, and you don't have tankers, you can't get close enough. You gotta come in closer.
I think that's what the Iranians have been asking for. Come a little closer, America.
Yeah, that's right. United Kingdom is losing control of their bond market. 10-year bond yield is headed towards 5%. Lovely. Basically, Western civilization is getting like simultaneous shocks from like this war with Iran. This is so funny.
I believe I saw that the American Treasury, declared the country insolvent yesterday too. Did they not?
Yeah, that's where things are headed, bro. That's where things are headed. United States attacked Iran's Kondab power plant. 1 hour ago, Iran made it clear that as power plants were attacked, it would destroy all power plants and desalination plants in the region. Very soon, we may see retaliation from Iran. Yeah, there you go. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. Very, very lovely. Sir Kenaz, how does it feel seeing the end of Western civilization?
Well, I didn't expect it to be this fake and gay. I mean, Mad Max, okay, I can understand that. I can understand essentially a Soviet Union style collapse, but I didn't expect it to go out with like a fat orange retard screaming stupid shit.
Okay. On that point, Sir Kenez, you just reminded me of something I wanted to say earlier. So all this is happening, and we know the midterms are in November, obviously. But this summer, we're supposed to have the 250th birthday of the greatest country in the world. And we're supposed to get a UFC fight and a NASCAR race, I think, or some shit, F1 or something. Are we going to see that? Well, how's that one going to roll out?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by July, chances are, if we're going to have boots on the ground, and, I keep hoping against hope that somebody figures out, boots on the ground is not a winning strategy. But if we're going to have it, it will have happened by July 4th, and I suspect that's going to put a real damper on 4th. What's going to happen is going to put a pretty big damper on 4th of July celebrations.
That was what I was thinking too, yeah. But he has been bigging it up so much all year.
There might be, I mean, there might be a fucking celebration. I don't know, whatever the fuck they want to celebrate. Like, they want us to celebrate like, Ronald McDonald fucking, the Hamburglar or whatever the fuck they celebrate.
It's going to be the Ronald McDonald versus Hamburglar UFC fight at 250.
Like, whatever the fuck it is the Goyim celebrate or moo about, right? Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, what I care about is this war, number one. Number two, the energy crisis. Number three, all of the other aftershocks, right? Like, that's what people should be zooming in on, right? And on the Sunday's show, like, we're gonna have a all-star panel, like American Expats show. We're gonna have Sir Malcolm, Sir Kinaz, and myself, right? And we're gonna just, like, do a deep dive on what the fuck is happening, right? Because, like, this shit, man, it's... it's not a grandiose thing to say that this is the end of 6 centuries of like Western sea power that we're watching right now. With regard to
and I don't see any way. Like the only way out I see for the United States at this point is Donald Trump declares victory, mission accomplished. We've taken care of everything. Quietly behind the scenes gives the Iranians what they want, exactly what they want. This is not an ideal, but I mean, this was the inevitable outcome when you decided to do this. If
Yes,
he tries
sir.
to bring boots on the ground, we're in big trouble.
Well,
I mean, we're going to.
one
Go
of the
ahead.
demands of the Iranians is reparations, right? And I don't think America can afford reparations right now to Iran.
Oh man, I don't think they can afford anything, bro. Let me put it to you that way.
But I agree with what you're saying, Sir Kanaz. Like, you know, they need to really strongly back channel that they're willing to bend the knee pretty strongly.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not expecting this to go well.
To put it mildly.
Well, at least from this, at least you'll know that for the July 4th celebration, you are going to get plenty of Goy burger patties.
Oh, yes. A hot dog eating contest. You can imagine the protests at that. Like, the No King's Day things would probably just seem like the appetizer for whatever the left has planned for that day.
I think that's going to be pretty tame compared to, well, I mean, was it Malcolm, at least a Jutrin respecter? I think he put out a tweet which I think was it's always insightful, but this one I think is really important to remember. Someone said it's like this fight is existential for Iran, but it's not for the U.S. And Malcolm saying it's like, well, no, it's existential for the elites, not for the average American. And the elites are going to squeeze all the blood that they can out of basically the society until the society has had enough and will be an open revolt against it. So like people like Trump, people in the Pentagon, like, you know, the officers, the business class, like they're going to go double down on Iran. But the question is what effect that will have on the general populace.
Gosh, I hope the cattle rise up and stomp down their leaders in a giant stampede.
The cattle.
Well, you guys were talking about the celebration in America that will happen, but there are celebrations happening right now in Iran. Like I was talking to my relative.
It happens every
Iran
night, bro.
like just 5 days,
night.
Yeah, every night they're like just having like protests against US and Israel. Like everyone, women, children, everyone are on the street. It's like a national sort of a thing right now.
Yeah. The popularity of the current government is at an all-time high. The rally around the flag effect, obviously, and then all the liberals and all these other like pro-Western groups, they've been completely discredited because America engaged in a dirty sneak attack, right? So, like, you know, the government's going to be around, right? Iran's going to be around.
No regime change. No regime change.
In the Gulf state, yes. In America, yes. In Iran, no.
Kind of the opposite of what we were told was going to happen.
Yeah, well. Breaking news. The U.S. bond market completely reversed its 2026 outlook in 25 days. U.S. 2-year prediction of what the Fed will do, changed everything. 3 weeks ago, markets were pricing 2 rate cuts. Today, they're pricing a possible rate hike. Yeah, Sir Kenneth, America's dead. It's over. Call it in. Pack it in, guys. It's over. Game over. Game, set, and match.
Let's see. Well, Business Insider says bond market is flashing a stress signal that could spill over into stocks. It's at risk of funding stress. Well, yes. Sharp increase in yields and Treasury vote. Well, this distress will eventually spread to the U.S. stock market.
Breaking news. U.S.-linked and Israeli-allied industrial companies and heavy industries are evacuating their workplaces. Yeah, Sir Kenneth, I think Iran's going to hit the bigger stuff now. They're gonna hit like the steel plants, the power plants, all the fun stuff, basically.
Who could have predicted this, I ask you? I mean, other than us.
IRGC says, in the coming hours, we will attack all hotels in the United Arab Emirates, all hotels in Bahrain, and also in Damascus, Syria, where American forces are staying. Oh, good news, Sir Kenaz. They're going to hit hotels next. That's going to be so much fun.
How long is it going to take to rebuild the damage that's getting done? Because America's not going to be able to come in with a Marshall Plan for this.
They got no money. They are broke.
Yeah.
There's no money.
Kind of hard to build a steel plant when you don't have a steel plant to build steel, to build that steel plant with.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what would be really funny and a big fuck you by Iran?
Everything here is a big fuck you, bro.
So
every single thing they've done.
No, I'm just saying, like, one of their demands about the reparations, they should say the reparations has to be paid in yuan or Russian rubles.
Just take the money in fucking gold and silver, man. Like the reparations have to be paid in gold and silver. Pay up, America.
Yes, and all of them put export controls on all of their bullion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think the U.S. is actually right now liquidating some of their gold to buy like resources, oil, which is why you're seeing like the decline of gold the last week.
Right.
But like that's probably going to be a temporary thing. Like it's going to shoot back up. Like Chinese people, like they're like, oh, we have all this. The Americans are selling all this gold, and you're just seeing them gobble this shit up.
Yeah, I saw it.
Like
some of the Chinese accounts I follow are saying like. This is the end of cheap gold, basically.
Yeah.
CBS News. White House officials are now cautiously optimistic about the latest progress in negotiations with Iran. Sir Kenaz, what do you say to that?
Well, they've been cautious. Of course they're cautiously optimistic. I mean, didn't they just offer to make Trump the supreme leader?
Oh, man.
I mean, we are at we're reaching levels of senility that at least they kept Biden doped up and quiet.
Yeah.
I just keep having these visions of Biden quietly reading a book somewhere, oblivious to all this.
Man, I just want the weed that the White House is smoking because it sounds like it's a really good weed.
Nah, they're gonna steal that stash, man. They're not gonna give it to you. They're gonna fucking loot everything.
It's seemingly laced with LSD. It's very strong.
Stock market down, oil up.
Like Hegseth keeps repeating this lie every day about total air supremacy, and he waves his hand around like he owns the sky with, and I'm like, man, you got to be smoking some really crazy LSD laced weed.
Inside the White House, senior aides are saying Trump is already mentally moving on from the Iran conflict. A senior official said, Trump is getting a little bored with Iran. Not that he regrets it or something. He's just bored and wants to move on. Source, MS Now. Sir Kenaz, what do you say to that?
Well, he's getting bored. That doesn't really surprise me. I mean, Trump has a short attention span. But, what I'm not hearing here is Trump coming out and saying, well, this was a bad idea. Maybe we should, we should start making real steps to come in, not saying that, oh yeah, they offered me the job as Ayatollah, but I didn't take it.
Yeah, maybe I'm bored, so let's turn those ships with the Marines headed toward the Middle East around. Oh, if I'm a Marine and I hear the commander-in-chief is bored with the mission that I'm headed towards, possibly dying on, yeah, I'm going to mutiny at that point.
So more tankers have been taken out. So they've got two options. Option one is the tankers that they do have left over, they fly them even further away, and the sorties become even more dog shit, right? And the second option is, well, they just bring the jets closer. They bring the jets to like Prince Sultan and these other places, and the sorties that they fly out, yeah, they can hit at a higher rate against Iran, but then the jets are hit at a higher rate back as well, right? So more casualties. That'll be fun.
They do have a third option, which is basically a one-way trip.
Well, Americans are goyim, so we both know that that's not going to happen. Goyim don't behave that way.
Sir Meow Meow, are you referring to the nuclear suicide vests that we strap the burgers
The nuclear suicide vests.
I'm referring to the divine wind that carried the Japanese in against the Mongol invasion.
Yeah.
And maybe the Americans could utilize that.
Sounds like too much work.
Too much work. Yeah, no, Goyim can't do anything. All right, let me see what this is. Breaking news. Okay, I already read that. White House. JD Vance suggests, yeah, nuclear-powered vest. Hey, fucking retard. Okay.
Speaking of the nuclear-powered vest, it's like every accusation is a confession. Because I think Americans during the Cold War, they had a program where they basically have like a special ops team with like a 60-kilogram like nuclear like device, and then they would parachute, land, and then detonate. So that's like sort of like a nuclear suicide vest.
Yeah. They had like they developed something which was like it wasn't a suitcase. It was like a large luggage container, right? And like you could parachute down with it, and it would be like a 2-kiloton explosion or something, right? So they developed stuff like that. But like, there's fundamental design limitations for why you can't wear a suicide vest that gives off a nuclear detonation, right? That's kind of what that is.
I think I'm looking at it. It's like the B-54 Special Atomic Demolition Munition.
Yeah, something like that.
This was
yeah.
like a green. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the closest that you have to a nuclear suicide vest.
It's not a vest, man. You can see it from a fucking mile away. You have to carry it with you. It's a giant suitcase, right? JD Vance is a fucking moron. Like, there's no such thing as a nuclear. Like I said, the design constraints are what they are. You can't make it below a certain size. All right. Ben Shapiro, after telling his audience for months that bombing Iran wouldn't lead to a wider war, and then claiming the war was just going to be a quick bombing campaign, now telling Americans to prepare for a long war and to prepare for Karg Island. Right? There is no way to extricate ourselves from this situation right now. Americans only got tired of Vietnam after 50,000 troops died, he said. Our military members are heroes because they are willing to sacrifice their lives for greater good. A future world where energy will become cheap again because the Straits of Hormuz will be free again. Sir Kenaz, what do you say to that?
Well, first of all, it comes from Ben Shapiro, so like I generally don't take anything that comes out of that beady-eyed, rat-faced, hook-nosed, money-grubbing, coin-clipping, further censored, because X regulations prohibit me from going further. But, we're not going to get to 50,000 this time. 500 people are going to be really upset. When they get to 1,000, they're like, we have to avenge these people. By the time we're at 10,000, it's like, we have to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Well, one of my Jewish friends once said about Ben Shapiro, which is that Ben Shapiro is the example of what happens when you don't punch a faggot in the face, because then they grow up to be like Ben Shapiro.
I mean, I don't think even if Ben Shapiro was punched in the face lots of times, I think he still would have been a fucking like dirtbag. But that's just me. IRGC calls on industrial company. Okay, I already read that.
Ben Shapiro's message is, you simply must die for Israel. That's at the root of it. That's what he's saying.
That's the root of it. There we go. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, I'm not very good at making memes, but does anyone know the Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, it's time to duel thing?
That's a trap card meme, that thing?
Not the trap card, but it's like in the beginning, it's like the theme song. They say it's like it's time to duel, like duel.
Sure.
Someone should make a remix of that, except instead of duel, die for Israel. So
yeah, I really don't understand they're not making the connection. And if you say to anyone that this is for Israel who's supportive, they seem to think that that's a bad connection to make when it seems so obvious.
Oh, all right. I'm seeing some reports. I don't know if this is true or not, right? But there is a island. It's called Abu Musa. It's a disputed island. It's owned by Iran. Population 2,000 people, right? But it's claimed by the UAE, United Arab Emirates, right? So it's possible, Sir Kenaz, that the UAE decides that, hey, America, you can launch your parachuting operation or whatever the fuck from our place, right, into Abu Musa. It's possible that that's what's going to happen. So, oh, dear. Oh, man. If that actually happens, I will laugh so loud, man. It will be like, okay. All right, UAE, you existed for a few decades, I guess, and now you will cease to exist. So long. It wasn't nice knowing you. You were always like a shitty place, but, that is what it is.
Aren't they the people that came up with, they created the whole Dubai chocolate phrase because they didn't like the other version of Dubai chocolate that was coming up on Google searches?
Gotcha.
I mean, I think the thing with the Gulf states that just impresses me is it's like, the West appears to have, at least some kind of antibodies against the absolute worst in degeneracy.
Yeah.
Muslims who go secular just tend to just spiral. I mean, there's shit going on in Dubai, poor choice of word, I'll admit that is like, guys.
Oh, yeah. Well, good news, Sir Kenaz. Dubai will cease to exist soon, so hooray. Okay, so we do have, so 3 tankers were destroyed completely. And serious damage to several others. Several others is how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 3 destroyed and then 12 more have been damaged. Wow. Okay. Like this conflict started with 50 or something. So, that's almost 30% right there. And then there were 5 or 6 or 7 of them that were damaged or destroyed the last time around. Yeah, Sir Kenaz, I mean, I think I now know why they're trying to do a ground invasion, because they're kind of running out of these fucking tankers.
Yeah, I mean, well, there was never, if you want regime change in Iran, and that was what you were claiming, if you want to neutralize Iran as an ongoing threat, the only way you were ever going to do that was with boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
There was no way ever around that. Unless your strategy was, I'm going to keep needling these people and pissing them off and blowing up like trucks that you're loading missiles from, so you can go build more trucks and then fire missiles at Israel.
Yeah. Breaking news. Kash Patel, director of the FBI, Gmail account was hacked by Iranian hackers. Lovely.
Oh, God,
Absolutely
I want to
lovely.
see the porn they found in that one. Oh, no, I don't.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, the guy who's got the Israeli, the FBI head who's got an Israeli girlfriend who clearly just loves him for his mind.
Mm-hmm. President Trump, we don't need the Hormuz Strait. We have so much oil. Our country is not affected by this. You should probably talk to the farmers who are having a fertilizer shortage. And you should also talk to the fucking, medical people who are having, a helium shortage. But other than that, Donald,
This was
gleam
what
of
I
the juice.
said before. I really saw as being an enormous threat was that we are, to an extent, insulated from the worst of what's happening with the Hormuz closure. We're not having mass shutdowns of gas stations yet. Fertilizer, again, this is something most Americans seriously believe that, groceries don't come from farms, they come from grocery stores.
Yeah.
So, this doesn't hit us, and this means we can keep going and pretending, we're like just a few days away from winning. We're going to beat Iran. We're going to destroy their navy for the 15th time.
Yeah.
And we can do all of that, but because we're not going to begin feeling the consequences for at least a few more weeks, maybe even a few more months. That concerns me a great deal.
And then it's too late. And then it's literally too late to do anything. It would be like orders of magnitude worse than COVID, and everything would get fucked, basically.
Yeah, that's just it. It's clearly predictable this is what happens next. Lots of people are saying, not even just us. This is what we're saying. You could find many people who will vouch for us, because what we're basing this on is simple facts.
Mm-hmm.
And, unfortunately, Americans are still buying into American exceptionalism. We'll win because we're America. Yeah,
that's basically. The 15,000. What was it? The 82nd, and then the 5,000. Well, whatever. It's like a combination of the 82nd, and then you've got the Marines and these other things, right? Like Sir Malcolm and myself, we were doing maths the other day, right? Basically, if you took the largest C-17 or C-5 or whatever, right? One of these like big transports, right, for air. It's around 100 times less cargo than the smallest transport ship, right? If you have like a small military sea lift thing, it's around 10 times smaller, right? But basically what you get is 30,000 cubic foot, 35,000, 40,000 cubic foot on the high end with regard to like these aerial things, right? If you do anything that's military sea lift or civilian sea lift, however, you get 100 times, 1,000 times more cargo, but not only that, you also get, right? You also get the ability to transport heavier and heavier stuff, right? So theoretically, is it possible for you to transport a tank on a cargo plane? It's theoretically possible, but the plane will fall apart after I think 4 or 5 sorties, right? So what they're really talking about, Sir Kenneth, is we're going to parachute a few hundred of these airborne troops or Marines or whatever in at Abu Musa or Karg or any of these places, right? Obviously, we're not going to get shot down during that time. And, oh, by the way, all of these guys are just going to be light infantry, right? We're not going to give them much in terms of heavy, anti-air or all these other things. We're not going to give them much with regard to these other systems, maybe some light artillery here and there, right? But overall, they're on their own, right? They're on their own, and yeah, they're within fire range of the entire Iranian coastline, and they're going to get turned into burger patties, which is basically that's what this is, man. Just oh dear. Yeah. So I don't know if they're actually going to do the 15,000, but if they're really going to land a couple hundred of them at a time, it's going to be an actual massacre, right? There goes that's the end of 6 centuries of Western sea power right there, right? 4K, 8K video of Marines and 82nd Airborne getting blown to bits on the beaches, right? Because it ain't 1944, folks. It's 2026, right? And in an era of high precision weapons, right, which can hit basically anything, including 3 Stratotankers and 12 more, right? Destroy 3 Stratotankers and like damage 12 outright, I think this happened like 1 or 2 hours ago, right? You're kind of screwed there. You're kind of screwed there. So,
and the country is insolvent. Love it.
Love it. All right. Did you see the I shared this on the Telegram group, but did you see the numbers? So if you take the Rusi numbers, right? The Rusi people, they did the numbers with regard to how much munitions Israel and America used, right? Did you gents see those tables that I converted into, right? The Americans are using like 40, 50 tons of explosives a day on Iran right now, and it's still going down by like 2% per day, right? This is laughable, guys. This is absolutely laughable, right? Like you're talking about what? 7 million, 8 million tons of TNT used on Vietnam, North Vietnam. You're talking about 650, 700, 700,000 or so tons used on like, North Korea and these other places. This is like 3 or 4 orders of magnitude less explosives, right? Who on earth is telling Trump to like, don't worry, sir, any moment now, Iran's gonna surrender, even though we're using like 3 or 4 orders of magnitude less explosives, right? Like, buddy, you're running a terrorism operation, right? You're not running an actual military operation. You're running a fucking terrorism operation, right? And you expect the Iranians to surrender from that?
Yeah, it's almost going back to the Mike Tyson analogy. It's kind of like the Mike Tyson's just holding the little small pipsqueak's head while he's taking swings, and every once in a while the little pipsqueak gets like a cheap shot in, but Mike Tyson's not really budging.
No. The Israelis, for example, they've moved all of their stuff. Like they're still doing airstrikes every now and then with like standoff munitions on Iran, but their main theater now is Lebanon. And in Lebanon, I think like in the last 15 days, over 100 Merkavas have been smoked. Right? I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, I think 27 Merkavas were ambushed and smoked. Right? Like this is completely unsustainable. Right? And once Iran starts firing and starts hitting steel plants, refineries, chemical, fertilizer, they've already begun, right? But as it gets worse and worse, right? Like the entire society is going to fall apart. Like all of Israeli society is like, okay, well, a pocket of heavy industry here and there. We got a few desalination plants here and there, and that's the entire society, right? So.
And I have noticed a difference in this with the new Lebanese war going on. The tank strikes aren't from shoulder mounted RPGs. They're from FPV drones that are sending back footage that we can watch.
Yeah. Well, like at Chabahar Port, that, was it an F-18? Yeah, so the F-18 that was shot down. It was shot down by a manpads. It was not shot down by like sophisticated Iranian equipment, right? What's basically happening right now is, now that the JASSMs are basically almost out and everything else is almost out per what the Rusi data was showing us, right? For the first 16 days, they projected outward, with a few scenarios. But like, now what's going to happen is, okay, well, enough. Don't worry, man. We are America. We have so many JDAMs. Well, buddy, the JDAM has a range of 30 to 45 kilometers. You got to get in real close, right? And as you get in closer, the Iranians will hit you with manpads. They'll hit you with all the cheap stuff, right? So, what did they start off with? They started off with 380, 400 jets, right? If you add up all the other airframes with regard to these Heron drones and these like Reapers and whatever, that's another 200. So 600 something airframes, America and Israel combined, right? Okay, what does that compare to? 1991, 2,400 plus airframes to invade Iraq, right? For the first Gulf War. Second Gulf War, 2003 Iraq, 1,800 plus airframes, right? This is nothing. You're using a force that's like 1/4 the 1991 force and around 1/3 the 2003 force, right? You're up against a guy, the attrition rate is ungodly. Like in 2003, 2011, 24 airframes destroyed or damaged, 138 rotary airframes, so like helicopters and these types of things, destroyed or damaged, 160 plus over the period of 2,792 days. We're on day 28. So 1% of the time has elapsed, with regard to like that particular conflict. And we've already reached numbers higher than that with regard to like airframes destroyed or damaged, right? When I say airframes, I'm talking about not just F-18s and F-16s. I'm talking about, Heron drones, MQ-9 Reapers, et cetera, right? So, you're up against an opponent whose attrition rate compared to 2003, 2011 Iraq is around 100 times higher, right? And you're using only 1/3 the air power that you had available in 2003, 2011, right? This is a bloodbath, gents. This is an actual bloodbath, right? It's going to end only one way. Like, you can look at the mathematics, all these other stupid arguments people make about like human spirit or, oh, the American soldier. Buddy, look, mathematics, please. Show me your mathematics, right? Show me your mathematics. Here's what the mathematics is saying. It's just like, there's no exit for this, man. There's no exit for this, right? He can surrender or like he can say, I won the war or whatever. He can run away. But the moment he does that, everyone will know who actually won the war. Let's put it at that, basically.
Yeah, and I think Sir Ken has his point about like Americans not having the memory of body bags coming home. The last time it was happening, it was like IEDs. People were coming home either dead or missing limbs, but we didn't see it on video, right?
No. This is a complete clusterfuck, gents. This is a complete clusterfuck. Hezbollah intercepts an Israeli warplane over Beirut with a surface-to-air missile. Okay, breaking news, but I don't have confirmation on that, so take that with a grain of salt. What else do we have here? Iran vows retaliation for targeting industrial areas. Tasnim agency says Iran military will destroy 6 steel factories inside Israel as well as 5 other countries. Yeah, it's gonna get very, very bad now. What else do we have here? If you gents find anything interesting, let me know. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on today with regard to, live things happening. And CPAC chair, how many of you would like to see impeachment hearings? ? Crowd cheers loudly. CPAC chair, that was the wrong answer. MAGA's finished. This whole populism drivel is completely done. Oh, man. Oh, jeez. What a joke. I'm just laughing at the whole thing, man.
I'm not sure who this Iranian official is, but his name is Saeed Majid Mousavi. And he is saying to the Americans, you tested us once before. The world saw again that you yourselves started playing with fire and attacking #infrastructure. This time the equation will no longer be an eye for an eye. Wait and see. Employees of industrial companies associated with the Americans and Zionist regime should quickly leave their workplaces.
He's the aerospace force. He's the aerospace force commander. He's the aerospace force commander. That's who he is.
Yeah. When the Iranians tell you to leave your workplace, you better get gone.
Yeah. Like basically what's happening right now is, the Khorramshahr 4. The Khorramshahr 4 is an interesting thing, right? It's got, sub-munitions. It's a cluster munition, right? That's what it is, right? I mean, people say it's not. It is, man. Like, functionally, that's what its role is, right? It's got around 80 sub-munitions. I think each of them are like 20, 25 kilograms. They fall at around Mach 5 each. You can tweak how much is on the thing. Instead of 80, you can make it 40 or 20 or whatever, and you can increase the range. You can hit all of Europe, basically, if you make it light enough. But, you use it for a very specific purpose, which is if you're hitting something very, very large, like, a runway or something with a lot of surface area, that's what you use, right? Now, why do you not use it at the beginning of the war? Well, if you use it at the beginning of the war and the other guy has a bunch of his higher end interceptors, right? He can intercept you before you start going terminal and before the thing splits and the AT submunitions are coming down, right? And so the reason they're using the submunitions now is because, number one, the SAD radars are gone. All these things are gone. So they only have like 90 seconds to 2 minutes of warning time instead of the usual 15-minute, right? And so the Israelis, they have all these like lower end interceptor systems and whatever, right? And obviously you can do it manually. You can like get jets to take off and try and shoot things down. But basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to use the volume and mass that they built over the last several years and decades on themselves, right? And the way you do it is, okay, well, you only have 90 seconds to 2 minutes to react. And oh, here comes a bunch of cluster warheads or whatever. And this'll make you go, okay, well, we can take the hit or we can try and intercept it. And well, if we try and intercept it with our lower end stuff, well, let's try and stop 80 of them. Well, we're not really going to succeed. We can only do a little bit at a time, right? And so they're going to keep on wearing them down over and over again, right? And don't be surprised if you see Hezbollah becoming more bold. Don't be surprised if you see the Palestine Joint Operations Room, whether it's the Hamas, PIJ, and all these other guys, them entering the party, right? And don't be surprised if Ansar Allah make their moves as well, right? If Saudi Arabia joins this war directly, they'll be in for a surprise. You know, Ansar Allah aren't just a missile force. They also have, 500,000 plus men on the ground ready to march northwards, right? They're not just joking about that. So.
Something tells me it's going to be a busy weekend.
Let's see where the Americans land, if they do land. If they land or if they don't land, let's see what happens with that. I think it's all Cape shit, though. I think it's just going to be like Shaniqua from Queens or whatever. She lands on like Abu Musa and like an FPV drone blows her up or whatever, right? I think that's what's going to happen there, right? The Americans are not somehow miraculously more competent than the Russians, who are also getting like sniped by, FPVs, nor are they better than the Ukrainians who are getting sniped by FPVs, right? So it's going to be a complete bloodbath. Yeah. Oh dear. Let me see what else news is popping up here. Iranian air defenses have shot down an American cruise missile over northwestern Iran. Okay, so they're beginning to bring out their better defenses now that the sortie rates are down and all these other things are happening. Okay. Trump is bored of the war with Iran. He wants to declare victory and move on. Well, you can do that, man. You can do that and you can make Iran the toll booth operator of the Straits. And then, you can laugh about killing 3,000 Iranian kids or whatever. And Iran will laugh at starving tens of millions of Westerners. You can do that, man. You can declare victory and give Iran the world if you wish. That option is open to you. Okay. U.S. Secretary of State Rubio tells G7 that the Iran war should end within weeks. Sure it will, buddy. All right. Oh, dear. U.S. has fired at least 850 Tomahawk cruise missiles so far, according to Washington Post. Due to the munitions in large quantities, U.S. stockpile is now running low, causing concern. Shocked Pikachu face, Sir Kenas. All right. What else do we have here? Yeah, 3 KC-135 tankers outright destroyed. 12 have been damaged. And if you gents find anything, let me know. If somebody wants to be speaker, they can also give me a request if they wish to, right? I'm just like scrolling down and trying to find something. 20 minutes ago, IRGC warns it is carrying out retaliatory strikes, blah, blah, blah. Residents within 1 kilometer radius to avoid harm. Yeah, okay.
Well, we're also currently, U.S. banks are holding on to about 386 billion losses.
Yeah.
So, financially, it's starting to hit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, something's wrong with your audio, Sir Kinez. I don't know what's going on there.
It's crackling?
It's crackling a little bit at a time, yeah. Might want to change the input source.
Okay,
not sure about
hang
that.
on, let me...
Yeah, it's all good. Don't worry about it. The usual technical difficulties. Resistance statement. In defense of Lebanon and its people, Mujahideen of the Islamic Resistance at 1500 on Friday confronted a warplane in the sky above the surface-to-air missile. Okay. Reminder that Arsen Ostrovsky spent the genocide in Gaza depicting his cockroaches. Yeah, okay, we've already seen that. Okay, almost nobody wants to have a dollar with Trump's signature on it. That will be the end of the dollar era. Alexander Dugin. He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty cringy with that Trump signature on the dollar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In a significant escalation, is Israel... Okay, so we already read that. Let's see what Sir Malcolm is up to. Let's see what Sir Malcolm is up to. Juche Affirmer. All right. Marco Rubio, we in America have no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline. Vania Francis, accelerates the West decline instead like a boss. Hilarious. To be free. All right, and then what else do we have here? Abdul Rahman Musavi. Some people out here believe the 500k strong Iranian military will desert en masse at the sight of a single Marine regiment. Yeah, there's Goyim who knew that.
500,000 Iranian troops are going to see a U.S. Marine just be like, damn, they're badass, and they're going to lay down their weapons.
Some people believe that, Sir Kenneth.
I couldn't smoke enough crack to come up with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, I could be snorting coke, smoking crack while I've got an IV meth drip going on for like 3 days straight, and I couldn't come up with something that stupid.
Mm-hmm.
This is just like, I don't think a lot of Americans really don't have any idea of what military action looks like that doesn't come out of a Cape Ship movie.
It's all Hollywood. It's all Hollywood, Sir Kenneth. All of it.
I suppose, you're going to come charging at one of the Marines, and then he's going to suddenly turn big and green, and he's going to start throwing boulders at you, and then they're all going to surrender.
That's what they believe, Sir Kenneth.
Like, the guy is going to, you're going to be firing at him, and he's going to be dodging, basically blocking all the bullets with his Captain America shield. Yeah, I mean, this is, okay,
Mm-hmm.
these are not serious people.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, they seem to have a pretty big say in what's going on. I mean, I think that most Americans don't want a war. You do have a certain small amount who really, everything they ever learned about war, they learned from movies, and they're figuring, okay, well, we're America. We're the greatest country ever. So.
Yeah. What a shit show. Pro IRGC outlets have released satellite imagery showing heavy damage. Yeah, we already saw that. Destroyed. Yeah. I'm just seeing what was available. 24, 30. Yeah, there's barely any aircraft left with regard to the tankers. The tankers are the main thing, right? Like, without the tankers, right? Like, this air campaign falls apart, right? So the Iranians are hitting the one thing, the single point of failure that's going to make the whole thing fall apart, right? At that point, they're like, okay, well, we're going to do island hopping. Let me actually check something. Keshem Island.
That's where brother Naji was saying. Saying they'd land.
Keshem Island population is 148,000. Area 1,491 square kilometers. All right. Battle of Iwo Jima. Hang on a second. Largest island captured World War II by USA. Let's see. Largest island was Guam. Sir Kenaz. Guam. Surface area of Guam.
Let's see. 212 square miles. It is approximately 4% the size of Puerto Rico.
Yeah, so 580 something square kilometers. Ketchum Island is around 3 times bigger. All right. And what did America use to fight in Guam? Navy and Marines, 37,000 this much. Army, 19,000 this much. Total is that much. 65,000. So to take Guam, they needed 65,000. And what was the Japanese force? The Japanese force was 18,500. So only about 30%. Yeah, Sir Kenneth. Something tells me that, whoever's in the fucking White House, they have no clue what they're about to do. Oh dear. Oh dear. So much fun. Are you winning, Sir Kenneth?
I'm winning. I'm winning so hard.
You're getting sick and tired of winning? Trump predicted this, by the way.
Yeah, I'm so tired of winning. I just want to see maybe a loss.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Honestly, we've gone 2.5 hours. It's a slower day today. No, not really. It's still lots of fun stuff are happening. But, gentlemen, any final words, before we wrap it up? Gonna be an interesting couple of, days and weeks afterwards. We're on week 4. We finished, day 28 rather today. It'll only get more funny as things progress, but, that's what it is. Any final words, gents?
The doom cometh. And
the
it's
doom
fake
cometh.
And gay.
And it's fake and gay. The best final words. Oh, all right. Yeah, those are the best final words. All right. Yeah, no, the doom cometh, as Sir Kenneth says. All right, gents. See ya.
Your soul is mine. Fate